Happy Sunday. I don't like it when people do that, actually. When people do the happy and say whatever day it is. It's kind of one of my strange pet peeves. Even though I just did it. Special daily read today with a very thick Sunday editions. I missed yesterday's read. It's had a very busy morning, so I couldn't get in front of the computer. I said today I'm going to try to make a weekend edition, even though it's just one day of the weekend. But it counts. Certainly counts. Sunday's always a thicker paper, as we should probably realize. I mean, it's always been. Today's New York Times. Today's Philadelphia Inquirer. Inquirer, they come in the same bag. The Inquirer ends up getting split kind of in two clumps. While the Times comes all in one clump. For whatever reason, don't know. As long as it's all here, I don't really care. So, you know the drill. What we do, go through the sections, take them apart. Front page. Sunday paper. The upside, which is the special Inquirer section. Chronicling good news in the area. Started maybe a year and a half ago. Or less. Or more. Good little section to lift spirits. Region. Sports. Sixers forced to play with 7 players yesterday because of COVID hitting other people. Oh, I agree, Dave. NBA blew it by letting the game be played. Yeah, I mean, come on, man. Like, what kind of competition can you expect when half your team is sidelined? Like, half your starting lineup. Might as well just told us to forfeit. Currents. Live life, live. And then, of course, the Sunday circulars. Is it still called that? You got all your, like, ads and stuff. Oh. Coupons. If you like your coupons, I should probably spend more time cutting these up and putting them in an envelope and then bringing them to the supermarket and then rifling through them at the cash register and then using them. Save myself $1.50 on Selsun Blue or $2 on Unisom. Or, I mean, is there anything in here I would actually, like, seriously want? I mean, I could take the time, I guess, to just flip through it and see what kind of coupons are in store for me today. Scotty's Triple Soft saves 75 cents. You need some TP. All right. Real estate. Peace. No, I don't do real estate. Unless it's more local, like where I used to live in Ardmore or near where I currently live. Which just happens to be. This guy, former teacher, restoring a Haverford house that dates to the 1600s. Tony Morinelli bought the property, which he named Harford Hall, after he retired in 2018. In a sense, it's a rebirth for me, he says. It's the embodiment of everything I love: history, art, buildings, architecture, nature, and gardens. It's a beautiful looking home. Look at that thing. All stone. When he was growing up in Havertown, he and his friends often played near an abandoned 18th century mill owner's home on a bluff high above. Oh, I know exactly where this is, honestly. Yeah. I was wondering what was going on with that house. We played along Caricon Creek. It's like right around the corner from where I used to live, which had once powered long shuttered grist, saw, and cotton mills. It was a great place for kids. The old ruins were still there. Hide and seek, cops and robbers. But the granite structure above made little impression on him. I just remember seeing a beat up old house. He had no idea that the house would one day blend seamlessly with his life. Yeah, if you drive or walk along Mill Road near Caricon Creek, as Cobb's Creek is called there, look up any day of the week and you're likely to see a slight, graying man of 71 walking in and out of the house. Some days he's accompanied by historic renovation contractors. This is now the life of Tony Morinelli, after an academic career capped by 35 years as a humanities teacher and the theater director at the Shipley School in Bryn Mawr. It has filled me every day. He's filled my every day, he said. In a sense, it's a rebirth for me. An accomplished artist and playwright who holds a doctorate in medieval history, Morinelli had occasionally thought of becoming an archaeologist. So when he retired in 2018, I took what I had in my retirement account and jumped into this money pit. Good for him. It's truly like it's ironic that you see the news in real time, but I see this house a lot, and I haven't seen work being done on it, and I've been like, beautiful home. Wonder what's happening there. So today's real estate section was not a complete bust. He bought the house from Wells Fargo, left his home in Ardmore, and moved in, spending the first winter in 2 rooms of the house, warmed by only a space heater and a fireplace. Since then, he has made an apartment for himself there and converted another section into an Airbnb to supplement his Social Security checks. And he has started a GoFundMe campaign to enable him to restore the original 1698 wing, which he hopes to eventually turn into a free museum. Good for this dude. Seriously. How old is he? 75, did I say, or 65? How many did I give me? 71. That's fantastic, man. Look at this guy. Seriously, let's give Tony Morelli a little bit of attention and some props here. Look at him. Look what he's doing here. I'm not even sure what it is, honestly, what he's doing. But he's got some sort of tool. Maybe the caption will tell me. Looks like he's cleaning out his living room. Here, a fireplace. So what is he doing exactly? He's got a beam on which it was scratched the signature of B. Leadham. The Leadham family lived in this house in the mid-1800s, and the local historical society calls this the Leadham Dickinson Mansion. Additions were added to the house about 1730 and 1740. The 1740 addition was a large parlor. Such a room indicated the growing prosperity of the mill owners. The end of the 19th century saw Harford Hall's descent into decay, a sign of the obsolescence of water-powered mills. There's also a well house, made of stone. It was built around the 1950s to replace an older wooden structure of which little is known. The well is 30 feet deep and is cut from the natural rock on one side and laid stone on the other. An expensive undertaking, it's a daunting challenge. His physicality is no less challenging financially. The 2 wings of the house where he lives now are all but complete. The original 1698 house awaits professional restoration. He's raised about $1,800 of what he thinks will end up as a $15,000 project to restore the original house for historical education and the experience of the community. Good for him, man. A lot of places in the main line where I'm recognizing some homes. All right, well, so much for getting rid of the real estate section right off the bat, because I found something of interest there that I was reading prior to us taking the sections apart, which is an unusual occurrence. Health. Usually I take them all apart prior to even delving into any article. I just like to get a sense. But I got distracted by Tony Marinelli's restoration project. Business. Eco-friendly find. So we'll just start with, now that I have all my sections separated, I've looked at the front covers, I get a sense of where a task ahead of me. Let's start with region. To save America, Republicans must show the way away from Trump. Some have begun. Commentary by Maria Panaritis. America's addiction to normalcy is how we got here and where we will stay. Here's that picture again. I had observed from earlier edition. Calling the guy deranged. I believe it was the word I used. Bloodied and angry. America, we have a problem. And it's not just the treasonous president who unleashed a mob of armed terrorists against a country he obscenely spent the last 4 years insisting he was making great again while jackhammering its very foundation. Helen Ubinas, this is her take. You can tell the slant, of the Inquirer, of some of these opinion columnists. Not that I'm not in agreement that Trump's an SOB. However, there's not a single adjective or negative descriptor that these columnists won't pull out to buffet their other commentary. Add a little bit of what's the term? Venom. I will cut back, as I'm saying. I'll cut back a little bit on the like incendiary kind of stuff. I just, not like in all articles, but in some articles I'd be like, all right, okay, like let's tone down the adverbs. At this point, I have a lot more faith in our rehabilitation if the problem was just him. Cut out the cancer, and maybe we survive, right? But as much of a malignant megalomaniac as he is, Donald Trump has always been a mere symptom of something bigger, or national, pathological, addiction to normalcy, or the illusion of it anyway. Get a little light on my paper so I can read it better. Never forget the justifications that led to this shameful point in our history. The deadly truth that enablers, our own political leaders, denied was coming right at us. It's not racism, it's economic anxiety. Oh, he doesn't mean what he says. What's the downside for humoring him for this little bit of time? Hours after a mostly white vigilante mob, fueled by Trump's dehumanization and disinformation, stormed the U.S. Capitol, lawmakers who hid in fear for their lives while Trump supporters freely rioted made a great show of restoring its sense of control and normalcy by returning to formally count the electoral ballots. It's the we'll show them approach that it is, indeed, very American. Except what it revealed is how willfully disconnected our leaders are from reality, from the dark truths of this country, and from the uncomfortable and hard work that needs to be done to purge our government, not just of a criminal president, but of criminal lawmakers more than willing to continue his work. Reasserting normalcy is all well and appropriate, MSNBC host Chris Hayes said Wednesday as lawmakers return to the House and Senate floors, some continuing to spread election conspiracy theories and lies about who was behind the riot. But there is something frankly kind of appalling about the tone of normalcy that has been resumed. I'm reminded of a quote I heard from someone that I just remain unnamed. It's two people. And the quote was something like, "Things aren't as bad as they seem." In response to a take on the rioting at the Capitol, that it was an impassioned take. These people said, "Things aren't as bad as they seem." I get that. I hearken back to that quote when I read Chris Hayes's. There's something frankly kind of appalling about the tone of normalcy, about the tone of things aren't that bad that has resumed. It's very dismissive. Supporters and opportunists spent years working to normalize Trump's apparent behavior and lower the bar to make his actions seem acceptable. Even now, after this unprecedented slap in the face to democracy, there is a reluctance to pull the fire alarm on this raging inferno. Instead, we continue to get these modest course corrections and too little, too late responses to make us wipe our brows, let out a sigh of relief, and declare the Republic is strong. An even more appalling response when you consider that despite some lawmakers momentarily scared straight after the siege, nearly 150 Republican lawmakers still tried to reject the results of a legitimate and lawful election. It's a good observation, actually. I mean, I really didn't consider it too much. Thinking back, Chris Hayes' take on it. It's almost like a damned if you do, damned if you don't. Like if they didn't show up and try to restore or recount or resume the voting process, the electoral count, they will get a we let them win kind of thing. The rioters won. They disrupted the process and kept us out. You get that. We have to continue on. And then if you go and try to do what you came to do before you were attacked, you get called out for trying to return to normal too quickly. So there's really no right answer, I guess. They were gonna get criticized no matter what. Colleges waive vaccine policies. Should schools require inoculations? While many issues are involved, such a rule is not unprecedented. Neighbors in a battle with a bar. After they complain, they say their windows were smashed. The bar manager denies any involvement. For more than 60 years, 3 generations of Maglio men have run the station bar and grill, serving cheap drinks and basic eats to an evolving demographic of South Philadelphians. There it is. Station. South Philly. What happened here? Let's find out. Lou Maglio, another Ital, who currently runs the joint owned by his mother, said the corner bar at 16th and McKean Streets never had problems with the neighbors until this year. I'm still taken by the fact that Ellie Rushing and the editors there were like, yeah, just use the word joint. Like, still runs the joint. It's an interesting selection of a term for a person's business. In a newspaper. It's almost like something you'd see in like a blog post. The complaints may have initially looked like newcomers clashing with old Philadelphian Moors, and Maglio argues that's the case. But even longtime neighbors say that the bar is out of hand and that the clash has escalated with frightening results. Maglio verbally threatened a man who he thought complained about the station, neighbors said, and on 4 occasions last year, people who have publicly complained about the bar later found their homes' front windows smashed. Police say those acts and the bar are linked, though no arrests have been made. The bad blood between Maglio and his neighbors has brought attention to his Facebook posts in which he spoke out against the Black Lives Matter movement and included racist. You're about to get canceled, Maglio. Included racist stereotypes. Robin Doyle, who has lived in her Emily Street home behind the station for 60 years, said she had enjoyed the bar. When Lou took it over a few years ago, she said it became a nuisance. And now she has joined a coalition of more than 30 households working to shut it down. He don't have respect for people, Doyle said. We were trying to protect our neighborhood and our street. Despite submitting daily complaints, neighbors say the city has done little. They tell us to keep calling 911, keep filling out 311 tickets, said Braden Barr. A slab of concrete was thrown through his window in October, which he believes was retaliation for reporting the bar to city agencies. But every time you do that, that is asking for someone to get a brick through their window. It's like a mob rule, like the mob, like mafia. Not like the mob in the Capitol, like actual mafia mob. Speaking of which, Maglio says, I'm a business owner. I work 7 days a week. I'm not a gangster. I'm not a criminal. I don't run around throwing bricks through people's windows. Yeah, but maybe you get somebody to do it for you. So here's the social media backlash Maglio got. Looks like during the June protests, in which portions of businesses in the city were destroyed, he posted a photo on Facebook of a gun resting on his bar table, captioned, 1 in the chamber, 48 in the clips, and a status that said, so if any of you find yourself driving a tractor trailer through a riot, here's a little advice. Don't stop. After a Hispanic person called Maglio racist in a Facebook review, Maglio replied, LOL, hope you get deported. This whole thing is part of their cancel culture, he said. All of a sudden, just out of nowhere, everybody hates me. Yeah, you knew that. I mean, I called that the cancel culture term was going to be approached. And I wasn't aware that it was going to be brought up immediately. But it was. For occasions since June, people who complained about Maglio or the bar on social media or to the city found their front windows smashed shortly after. The first incident was June 14th. One neighbor said that although she had enjoyed going to the bar before, she was bothered by Maglio's racist social media posts and employees and patrons not wearing masks. The woman, who asked not to be named for fear of retaliation, left scathing reviews on Facebook, Google, and Yelp, and submitted a non-emergency complaints to police detailing customer issues. About a week later, she awoke around 1 a.m. to the shattering of her living room window. She searched for security footage from neighbors that could show what happened. Minutes before the window was smashed, video shows men getting in the truck outside the bar and driving toward her home. A man gets out of the truck, walks around the block, then returns with a shovel and repeatedly smashes the window. The truck then returns to the bar. Like, what? We slept with our laptops open to our Nest cameras on our bed for multiple nights, the woman said. We were so scared. The woman has since deleted the reviews, changed her name on Facebook, and had metal bars installed on the windows. Maglio denied any involvement. Maybe it's a lie, maybe it's a coincidence, but it's not me. That's what I know. The next month, another neighbor criticized Maglio in his South Philadelphia Facebook group for leaving 5-star Yelp reviews of his own restaurant. This guy's a peach. Maglio, you are a peach, man. You are a pistol. That night, a slab of concrete was thrown through his window. I could barely sleep for the next couple of weeks, knowing somebody knew where I lived and was brazen enough to vandalize my property, said the man, who also asked not to be named for fear of retribution. This Maglio guy is really pushing his weight around. Nobody wants to be named in articles to talk about him. It made me buy a gun. Braden Varr, who lives next to the bar, said that on October 24th, he reported customers' illegal parking to a parking authority attendant. He had noticed the cars while out walking his dog. Around 2 a.m. on the 25th, a slab of concrete was thrown through his window. A little over a week later, at 3:09 a.m., a man wearing an orange wig, you can't make this shit up, a man wearing an orange wig threw a piece of concrete through the window of another neighbor who has been involved in speaking out against the bar. Philadelphia police are investigating the incidents, which involve residents of the neighborhood and the patrons of the Station Bar and Grill, they said in a statement. And it's a long article. Clearly, I'm spending a lot of time reading it because I'm very much intrigued. Bars across the studio struggle to survive the coronavirus shutdown. The station is no different. Maglio's bewildered that people who chose to live next to a bar are so outraged by the kinds of disturbances that a bar can create. He said he isn't responsible for what his patrons do once they leave. Not true. That's why there's such a thing called dram shop laws, meaning that if you overserve someone who's visibly intoxicated and they leave your bar, get into their car, drive down the street, crash into someone, kill them, you could be sued for overserving them. So, Maglio, you are responsible for what patrons do once they leave. If it is because of alcohol abuse or whatever, alcohol overserving, you may want to learn about the law since you're a bar owner. Don't live next to a bar if these things bother you, or come see me. I can try to help. But neighbors say the disturbances go beyond normal bar-related hijinks. Just last Saturday, patrons set off fireworks in the street, video shows. People engage in fights, public urination, and sex acts, and soil the sidewalk with trash and vomit. Sorry. Servers and guests are often unmasked, they said, and the bar sometimes serves alcohol past the state's 10 p.m. curfew. Philly 311 received more than 80 complaints against Maglio's bar last year, most related to coronavirus violations and construction. The Office of Food Safety has cited the station for 51 violations, like flies and mouse droppings, this year. A stop work order for construction remains in place, Cox said, and the restaurant received 10 violation citations from the Department of Licenses and Inspection in October. The restaurant has been cited once for violating coronavirus guidelines, but the bar remains open. Neighbors are frustrated by what they called a just disjointed and inconsistent reporting process. Var, whose kitchen shares a wall with the bar, has moved bedrooms twice seeking quiet. If nothing changes, he may move away from the neighborhood, where the average home price has more than doubled in the last decade. Christy Vasquez, who has lived three doors down, sorry, has lived 3 doors down from the bar. Who's lived 3 doors down from the bar. For about 7 years. It's part of the coalition working to shut down the bar. It no longer uses her backyard at night because of the noise. Helplessness is frustrating, she said. Her mother-in-law visited a few weeks ago and asked to sleep on the living room sofa. Vasquez rearranged the layout away from the window, just in case. I guess one could say that the Station Bar and Grill is this area of South Philadelphia's kryptonite. Oh, it's terrible. Terrible joke. All right, we're almost finished with the region, but of course, I need to spend a moment looking at the obits. Just because it's Sunday, a weekend, doesn't mean we can't spend time. Actually, it is Sunday, so for many, this is the day of the Lord, the Sabbath. As a non-practicing Catholic, I of course remember all the lessons I was tempted to be indoctrinated by throughout my childhood, high school as well. So today is a day of praise to the Lord in many circles. And it is worth acknowledging those that passed, especially. Christine Auck died suddenly on January 9th, 2020. In lieu of flowers, please send donations to wounded warriors in his name. It could be a suicide. While wounded warriors, maybe he has PTSD. He might have been wounded in battle and while serving. And he died suddenly. Sometimes that's a roundabout way of saying took his own life. I don't want to assume, but it's tough. Rosemary Ball of 81 of Ardmore. She went to the Church Triumphant, is how they're describing it in the obit, on December 24th, 2020. She was born May 9th, 1939, and graduated from the Haverford High School in 1957. Soon began working at O'Reilly and White in Narberth, where she met her future husband walking up a flight of stairs that she was walking down. Rose and Alan were married for 48 years and raised 2 children that she adored. She went on to work as a faculty secretary at Harcum College, and then as a secretary for the assistant superintendent at Radnor School District until her retirement in 2004. Always with a smile and an encouraging word, Rose has been described as one of a kind. She loves spending time with her family, enjoys traveling, her gardens, and visits from both friends and her large extended family. Just taking a picture. Sometimes I take pictures of things I read in the paper that I think others might be interested in. She was always willing and ready to help and kept a cup of tea and a biscotti at the ready. She radiated love. Oh man. Thomas Dalton Childers, 39, born November 6, 1981. I'm November 7th, 1979. He took his own life on the night of December 22nd. Taken too soon, Thomas survived by his loving parents, Debbie and Jerry Childers. His brother and sister, his brother Chip Childers, and his wife Spring Moore, and his daughter Eve. Celebration of his life will be held privately with immediate family members. Right before Christmas, took his life, killed himself. I don't know, man. It's a tough time for many people, Christmas. It just is. Holiday season, the turning of a year, can be a depressing time. I think as you look back and you think about what you did the year before, you think about your time, on this earth slipping by. Perhaps you maybe don't feel as happy as you are purported to have to feel by society, by your friends who are posting pictures. Whatever it is, you probably maybe don't feel like you're living up to the ideal of your life that or our society claims is what the happiness level you should have. Now, I don't know anything about Mr. Childers' struggles, obviously, but if he passed away, or if he was, he did commit suicide on 22nd, and if Mr. Auk, who died suddenly on January 9th, also, we have Muriel Menzel, who was 102. She passed away from complications of COVID on January 8th. She was born during the pandemic of 1918 and lived a life of indefatigable fortitude, led by the example of her parents, Frederica and Francis Schneider, and Albert Wutz Pereire. So she lived through 2 pandemics and died during the second one. How crazy is that? Seriously. Jeez. She was born during the pandemic and died during the pandemic. Somebody should, somebody in the Inquirer here should dig into her story, talk to her family. Could be a good one. Taking a little more time today reading over the obits than I normally would. I feel like it's a powerful swatch of people here. David Higgs was 66. He passed away. What the heck? Graduated from Willingboro High School in 72. He was an avid sports fan. He could be found watching football games and debating fantasy football, draft choices with his sons and friends. He was a longtime member of the Morristown Field Club, and golf was his true passion. Oh, now we have a whole other page of obits here. This is going to be a long read today, so it's good it's early because there's a lot to go through, and I'm only on one section. It's already been 40 minutes. Well, I care. I'm not doing this for you anyway. I'm doing this for me. This is a fun thing that I like to do. Read the paper out loud. Talk about it. So if it's 40 minutes or it's 40 hours, you can watch it or you don't have to watch it, or you can pause it, or you can skip forward, or you can come back later. When I get to the New York Times, which I might not read in full today, I might just go through the sections. At any moment, I could be recruited to help downstairs with feedings or whatever else if something goes haywire. So got 83-year-olds here. You got an 82-year-old, 92, 88, 89. No offense to the older folks that have passed. Rest in peace to all of them, but I usually kind of glance over ages to look for the younger ones. So the regional section today. Weather, 43. Too bad I still have gout going on. I can't get on my bike probably today. It's depressing. It's been a whole week since I've been able to ride the bike. This freaking foot. Nice week though. So I don't see any rain. So once this heals, make up for lost time. Maximum effort for Sixers. They didn't have a choice. They had to start a bunch of nobodies. NBA blew it by letting the game be played, like I said earlier. I want to read this. The bosses tell me that I have 800 words to describe what I saw on Saturday afternoon. That's 799 too many, because all it takes is one. Really? I mean, really. The players couldn't play. The opponent didn't think it needed to play. The head coach didn't want to play. And here all of us are. The players did what they could. The opponent did what it needed to do. The head coach wore his mask so that we couldn't read his lips. And here we are. In normal circumstances, we'd be talking about a rookie point guard from Kentucky who established once and for all that he isn't just a diamond in the rough, but a legitimate star in the making. That's Maxey. Tyrese Maxey. But these aren't normal circumstances, and unfortunately, they can't be treated as such. The Sixers lost to the Nuggets, 115 to 103, in a game that should not have been played. That's the story the NBA knew it was getting, and it is a story that will now be told. Nine players out. 9 players they couldn't play. For the Sixers, who are now 7-3, the game was nothing more than an opportunity for Tyrese Maxey to showcase his skills. He finished with a career high of 39 points, 7 boards, 6 assists, and 2 steals. In the process, he joined Hall of Famers AI, Allen Iverson, and Hal Greer as only Sixers rookies to score at least 39 points in a game. All right, here's a little tongue-in-cheek column by Mike Silsky on the fact that the NHL announced Tuesday that it sold the naming rights of 4 of its divisions this season to corporate sponsors. The divisions will be called the Mass Mutual NHL East, the Scotia NHL North, the Discover NHL Central, and the Honda NHL West. The league also revealed that teams would have advertisements on their players' helmets in an attempt to help recoup lost revenue from the pandemic. So here's like the sarcastic column. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Wells Fargo Center for tonight's game between the Flyers, sponsored by Pat Steaks, and the New York Rangers, sponsored by Murray's Bagels. I'm Jim Jackson. Alongside me is Keith Jones. Good to be able to drop the puck on a big Mass Mutual NHL East matchup. And speaking of good drops, tonight's opening faceoff is brought to you by Maxwell House. Jonesy, Flyers have been rolling lately, thanks to one man, goaltender Carter Hart. Right you are, JJ. And let's not forget, that's officially a brawny paper towel roll for the Flyers and Hart. Looking forward to this one tonight. Flyers control the puck off the draw. Kevin Hayes moving it over to Travis Konecny. And that pass is brought to you by United Van Lines, America's #1 moving company. Konecny makes a Maytag gentle cycle spin around a man and heads through the neutral zone. Up front for the Flyers are Konecny, Hayes, Van Riemsdyk, and that line is sponsored by Chapman's Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. A Porsche. Thank you, Jonesy. Konecny, of course, sporting a Primo's hoagie decal on his helmet. Primo's, baked fresh, sliced fresh, made fresh. And as Konecny dumps the puck in, fresh troops on the ice for the Flyers. Sean Couturier, Claude Giroux, and Jake Voracek. Got to correct you there, JJ. We're now contractually obligated to call him Jake from State Farm. That's pretty good. Thanks for the reminder there, pal. It's going to take a while to get used to these new official names. Anyway, the Rangers take the puck away and cycle back into their own zone. And that cycle brought to you by Harley-Davidson. Harley-Davidson, live to ride, ride to live. And riding up the middle of the ice now, carrying the puck, is Jesper Fast, sponsored by Firefox Quantum. Fast for business. Dairy Queen, it's not fast food, it's fan food. And FedEx, same-day delivery. Need fast delivery on your time-sensitive packages? Choose FedEx. Sorry to interrupt, JJ, but it looks like Jesper lost the puck, and the Flyers are on a counter rush. Way to be on the ball, Jonesy. That turnover by Fast, incidentally, sponsored by Termini Brothers Bakery of South Philadelphia. But now here comes Jake charging through the neutral zone across the blue line, and he's tripped up. Penalty coming on the Rangers. And the Flyers are going on the Pico power play. You're stealing Lou Nolan's line, JJ. A play-by-play guy under a mandate to read gratuitous advertisements to help restore financial stability to a professional sports league does what a play-by-play guy under a mandate to read gratuitous advertisements to help restore financial stability to a professional sports league has to do, my friend. Flyers send out their #1 power play unit, having Provorov, Hayes, Couturier, Giroux, and Konecny. That lineup is brought to you by Krasno, and Albadinjo. For all your personal injury needs, just call 1-800-KRASNOS. Speaking of needs, Jonesy, the Flyers need a power play goal. They're scoreless in their last 12 opportunities with a man advantage. And gentlemen, if you've been scoreless lately in your opportunities, be sure to try Cialis. Couturier wins the draw, back to Giroux. Winds up, drive, knock down, loose to the front, and the Rangers shoot it down the ice. Strong play by the Rangers defense there, JJ, to clean up things and clear the zone. And when you need to clean up and clear away dirt, get yourself a Scrub Daddy, the official sponge of the NHL. Now the Flyers regroup, but enter the offensive zone too early. Maybe they should have tried Auto Zone. If you want to get in the zone, Auto Zone. Offsides is called. Play is stopped. Face-off at center ice. You know, JJ, trade rumors are hot and heavy around the Rangers, especially involving the Los Angeles Kings. All of them revolving around forward Dustin Brown, who is 36 and in his 17th year in the league. These trade rumors are brought to you by UPS, which is perfect because the Rangers are a young team, not looking to get older, and people are asking them, what can Brown do for you? Flyers win the draw and dump the puck in along the right wing boards. The right wing dump in, sponsored by Bass Pro Shops, and the Rangers fire the puck back down the ice. That left wing clear, brought to you by Nike, and down toward Carter Hart, who sets the puck up for Provorov. And remember, if you're tired of being set up on the bad blind dates, try eHarmony.com, the official dating site of the Philadelphia Flyers. Love is closer than you think, JJ. Provorov picks up the puck, and here he comes in a rush. Dekes around one man, makes another move. Top of the circle, shot, he scores! And the Flyers take a 1-0 lead Provorov had speed, and he had the puck on his stick. And you know what that means? This Flyers goal is sponsored by Speed Stick. Speed Stick. Don't sweat it. Handle it. Just like even Provorov handled that puck. Am I right, Jonesy? By Menon. Pretty good. Pretty good one. Pretty good satire. Bills win first playoff game in 25 years. Rams advance behind the defense. Today we got the Baltimore at 11-5 at Tennessee, 11-5, Chicago 8-8 at New Orleans, 12-4, and Cleveland 11-5 at Pittsburgh, 12-4. Phillies traded for another reliever, Sam Coonrod. Good choice. Eagles. Alright, I want to read more about Maxey. I've been at this for a little bit of time now. Live life, love. Fiction. They're reviewing this book called Nick, Michael Farris Smith. What you should read in 2021. Think Again by Adam Grant and the UPenn. Malibu Rising, Taylor Jenkins Reid, and The Other Black Girl, Takia Delilah Harris. You have other ones too. If you enjoy Little Disasters by Sarah Vaughan, read The Push by Ashley Aldrain. If you enjoy Think Like a Monk by Jay Shetty, read Think Again by Adam Grant. If there has been enough room in your brain to give your own thoughts any thought, we hear you. But Grant, an organizational psychologist, coaches readers on how to better understand their unexamined and unchallenged beliefs. If you enjoy The Particulars of Peter by Kelly Conaboy, read When Harry Met Minnie by Martha Teichner. If you enjoyed Agent Sonia, Moscow's Most Daring Wartime Spy by Ben McIntyre, read The Princess Spy by Larry Loftus. If you like Transcendent Kingdom by Ya Gyasa, read Of Women in Salt by Gabriela Garcia. Like Joy at Work by Marie Kondo and Scott Sostein, read Laundry Love by Patrick Richardson. All Dirt's Here by Emily Straub, read Early Morning Riser, Catherine Henney. You like The Searcher by Tara French? Check out What Comes After by Joanne Tompkins. Did you like Big Summer by Jennifer Weiner? Read Malibu Rising, Taylor Jenkins Reid. If you like The Night Watchman by Louise Hendrick, read Brothers on Three by Abe Streep. Hey, did you like You Should See Me in a Crown by Leah Johnson? Read Blackout by Donahue Clayton. See Me in a Crown, that's a Billie Eilish song. You taking her title, I guess? I guess you could just do that. I guess you could just take the title of a song and use it as the title of your book, and maybe, I don't know if you had to pay her or anything, or maybe if You Should See Me in a Crown is like a standard line that anybody could use, so, it's not like it's trademarked or anything. When No One Is Watching by Alyssa Cole, you should read The Other Black Girl. If you're a reading type like myself, those are some options. Seeking help on dealing with habitually late relatives. Oh man, this is like a question I see all the time. I don't know why they keep running this kind of a question. Like, people are always asking what I do about people who are late, I feel like. Help! One of our family members habitually comes late to a gathering, making a grand entrance. Here I am, everyone! I might be 20 minutes late or half hour late, but I'm now here and everyone's party can begin because of my arrival. She and her daughter attended a wedding shower. They came late, ate the food, and minimally socialized. Just as the presents were opened and the two of them got up and exited the shower, smiling as they left. 15 months later, the same two attended a baby shower for the same relative. They again came, barely interacted with anyone. When the meal was served, they ate and, again, just as presents were to be opened, they got up and left. They sound like pretty smooth characters to me. Sounds like my modus operandi. Or at least the way I would like to operate. Several attendees made comments to their rudeness. We were all brought up to believe that if you attend an event, then you stay for the event, not eat and run. If you can't stay for the party, don't come. Please let us know how to deal with this relative who feels this is acceptable behavior. The answer when I resume the stream. I'm being beckoned.